Welcome back. You're watching Hot Stocks on ET Now. Now, like promised before the break, we'll be joined by the management of Bajaj Electrical. SHEKHAR Bajaj, who's the CMD, now joins us on this show to discuss about the business outlook. Good morning, Mr. Bajaj. Good to have you with us on Hot Stocks. You know, first up, the first 2 quarters of FY16 have been challenging. How do you see the new calendar shaping up for you?
As I look at it, the third quarter also it is challenging because there are some more provisions which are required to be made. But fourth quarter onwards, that means the new year 2015 is starting well. So we are expecting the 2015 first quarter. I mean the first quarter of 2015 should be good, and 15-16 should be a very good year.
Okay, we certainly hope so, Mr. Bajaj, but tell us about provisions. The EPC has certainly been a challenge historically. So what is the extent of legacy projects?
The legacy projects were all completed last year on 31st March of 2014. Now is the provision we are making, not for the projects had been handed over, so there is no more old legacy project left over. What is there that whatever about 300 crores odd of these legacy projects which we've handed over, we are now busy trying to collect the money. And when we are going to collect the money, at that time, whether LD clauses or otherwise, there are claims which we have to settle. So therefore, it has got to do with receivable which may not come fully. So therefore, we have to make provision for that.
Mr. Bajaj, you're sitting at an order book which historically is at the highest. Do you foresee any challenges on execution front?
Luckily for us, the old projects, because they were so old and incomplete, those all were completed by 31st March of 2014. All the other projects are current projects where we are going as per schedule. We've handed over 1 or 2 projects which are 1 to 3 months before time. So at this moment we are not having any projects which are getting delayed. One of the reasons for heavy losses in the earlier period was that the projects were getting delayed. I mean, not few months, but for years there were delays, and those are now we've seen that should not happen in future.
So how much will you be investing in LED, and what is the capacity that you're targeting? By when will that come on board?
In LED, it is not like a CFL where you have to increase capacity. It is more of a assembly operation, and therefore there is no sort of capacity constraint. It is basically the LED chip is being imported from Japan and USA and other countries. There are about a dozen LED manufacturers all over the world, and it is being imported from them and assembled and sold. So therefore, there is no capacity constraint. Whatever is the demand, only thing which we have to remember that LED pricing is coming down, and therefore one has to be very careful to not have too much of inventory. Otherwise, you lose out on inventory where the cost continuously is coming down.
Mr. Bajaj, would also like to get your view on RBI's move to cut key benchmark rates that has been welcomed by all. What are your views?
Yeah, for us it's also important when the reduction of the interest rate, which I expect another at least 0.5% further reduction will take place in the next 2 months. So this will immediately improve the housing starts. It will when housing starts improve, then our fans, our consumer durable products will go up, and therefore and with the price of the various raw material, whether it is oil prices which has come down, which means plastics come down, the fans price, the plastics, copper, aluminium, steel, all have come down. So therefore that will help us to increase our sales.
And finally, Mr. Bajaj, let's talk a little long term. What is the expectation from your revenues as well as your order book targets over the next 2 to 3 years?
See, all I can say is that 15-16 should be a very good year because there will be no additional provision required for E&P. All the new orders of 3,000 crore odd, which will be starting from the 1st of next year, I mean 1st of April onward, there will be an order book of about 3,000 crore, which all will be positive EBITDAs. The lighting also is picking up, LED is picking up, and so on. and therefore I think 15-16 should be a good year from the bottom line point of view, and each of the three segments will be clearly positive EBITDA. There's no question about it. Even the current year we are looking at positive EBITDA in all the three segments.
Okay, Mr. Bajaj, we leave it at that. Thanks very much for taking time out and chatting with us about your business outlook on hot stocks. Really appreciate you coming here. Well, time then to bring on board Sandeep Wagle, who's the